Beating, a punishment or assault in which the victim is hit repeatedly. Beg, ask someone earnestly or humbly for something. Betting, the action of gambling money on the outcome of a race, game, or other unpredictable event. Blowtorch, a small burner having a device to intensify combustion by means of a blast of air or oxygen. Bootlicker, bootlicker, an obsequious or servile person. Obsequious, obedient or attentive to an excessive degree. Servile, having or showing an excessive willingness to serve or please others. Braille, a form of written language for blind people in which characters are represented by patterns of raised dots that are felt with the fingertips. Brae, a steep bank or hillside. Chenille, a tufty, velvety cord or yam used for trimming furniture and made into carpets or clothing. Consent, permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. Contravene, offend against the prohibition or order of a law, treaty, or code of conduct. Couchette, a narrow bed on a train that folds down from the wall. Debate, argue about a subject, especially in a formal manner. Deliver, bring and hand over a letter, parcel, or goods to the proper recipient or address. Diplomatic, of or concerning diplomacy. Distractor, a person or thing that distracts. Doze, sleep lightly. Enlisted, enroll or to be enrolled in the armed services. Enviable, arousing or likely to arouse envy. Exception, a person or thing that is excluded from a general statement or does not follow a rule. Fastidious, very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. Fire alarm, a device making a loud noise that gives warning of a fire. Flout, openly disregard a rule, law, or convention. Flapper, a fashionable young woman intent on enjoying herself and flouting conventional standards of behavior. Freak, a person, animal, or plant with an unusual physical abnormality. Furnace, an enclosed structure in which material can be heated to very high temperatures for smelting metals. Smelt, extract metal from its ore by a process involving heating and melting. Good Friday, a Christian holy day observing the crucifixion of Jesus and his death at Calvary. Gringo, a person, especially an American who is not Hispanic or Latino. Halting, slow and hesitant, especially through lack of confidence. Halogen, denoting lamps and radiant heat sources using a filament surrounded by the vapor of iodine or another halogen. Heartthrob, a male celebrity who is known for his good looks. High tech, using, requiring, or involved in high technology. Homesick, longing for home and family while absent from them. Hyperlink, a link from a hypertext document to another location activated by clicking on a highlight word or image. Impetus, the force or energy with which a body moves. Interview, a meeting of people face to face, especially for a consultation. Judo, a sport of unarmed combat derived from jiu-jitsu and intended to train the body and mind. It involves using holds and leverage to unbalance the opponent. Lead in, something such as a television show or segment that leads into something else. Brawl, a rough or noisy fight or quarrel. Bulldoze, clear ground or destroy buildings, trees, etc. with a bulldozer. Cacao, seeds from a small tropical American evergreen tree from which cocoa butter and chocolate are made. Caseload, the number of cases with which a doctor, lawyer or social worker is concerned at one time. Chipper, a machine that cuts wood into very small pieces. Citadel, a fortress, typically one on high ground above a city. Comprehensive, including or dealing with all or nearly all elements or aspects of something. Cotton candy, a mass of fluffy spun sugar, usually pink or white, wrapped round a stick or a paper cone. Dangerous, able or likely to cause harm or injury. Defunct, no longer existing or functioning. Dock, an enclosed area of water in a port for the loading, unloading and repair of ships. Designate, appoint someone to a specified office or post. Ear splitting, extremely loud. Enmity, a state or feeling of active opposition or hostility. Face off, take up an attitude of confrontation, especially at the start of a fight or game. Fibro, a mixture of sand, cement and cellulose fiber used in sheets for building. Flower, the seed bearing part of a plant consisting of reproductive organs, stamens, and carpels that are typically surrounded by a brightly colored corolla, petals, and green calyx, sepals. Fulminate, criticize someone angrily. Game theory, the part of mathematics that deals with situation in which people compete with each other, for example, war or business. Gang, an organized group of criminals. Holster, a holder for carrying a handgun or other firearm, typically made of leather and worn on a belt or under the arm. Imminent, about to happen. Indecency, behavior that is thought to be morally or sexually offensive. Inflate, fill a balloon, tire, or other expandable structure with air or gas so that it becomes distended. Insolvent, unable to pay debts owed. Interpolate, insert something of a different nature into something else. Irrefutable, impossible to deny or disprove. Jumper, a knitted garment typically with long sleeves worn over the upper body. Kneel, be in or assume a position in which the body is supported by a knee or the knees as when praying or showing submission. Larva, an immature form of other animals that undergo some metamorphosis. Lesion, a region in an organ or tissue which has suffered damage through injury or disease, such as a wound, ulcer, abscess, or tumor. LTE, long term evolution, a 4G mobile communications standard. Mandala, a circular figure representing the universe in Hindu and Buddhist symbolism. Mastiff, a dog of a large, strong breed with drooping ears and pendulous lips. Mocha, a type of fine quality coffee. Million, the number equivalent to the product of 1,000 and 1,000. Nether, lower in position. Angler, a person who catches fishes as a hobby. Aphasia, the loss of the ability to understand or produce speech because of brain damage. Ardor, very strong feelings of enthusiasm or love. Babysit, to take care of babies or children for a short time while their parents are out. Bespoke, made specially according to the needs of a customer. Custom made. Blow dry, to dry hair with a hair dryer and shape it into a particular style. Bravado, a confident way of behaving that is intended to impress people, sometimes as a way of hiding a lack of confidence. Bulky, large and difficult to move or carry. Carrot, a long pointed orange root vegetable. Chinos, informal trousers made from strong cotton. Conceit, the fact of being too proud of yourself and what you do. Cosmonaut, an astronaut from the former Soviet Union. Courteous, polite, especially in a way that shows respect. Cubicle, a small area of a room that is separated by curtains or thin walls. Delineate, to describe, draw, or explain something in detail. Digitize, to change data into a digital phone that can easily be read and processed by a computer. Do-gooder, a person who tries to help other people but who does it in a way that is annoying. Oh. Driver, a person who drives a vehicle. Epoxy, a type of strong glue. Excavate, to dig in the ground to look for old buildings or objects that have been buried for a long time. Fascist, a person who supports fascism. Fascism, an extreme political system or attitude that is in favor of a strong central government, aggressively promoting your own country or race above others, and that does not allow any opposition. Fiber optics, the use of thin fibers of glass, etc., for sending information in the form of light signals. Fickle, changing often and suddenly. Firestorm, a very large fire usually started by bombs that is not under control and is made worse by the winds that it causes. Flip-flop, a type of sandal typically made of plastic or rubber that has a piece that goes between the big toe and the big toe next to it. Flipper, a flat body part like an arm without fingers that some animals such as seals and turtles use for swimming. Float, to move slowly on water or in the air. Forbid, to order somebody not to do something. Freckle, a small pale brown spot on a person's skin, especially on their face, that often becomes darker after time spent in the sun. Gaggle, a group of noisy people / geese. Gallon, a unit for measuring liquid in the United Kingdom, Canada, and other countries. It is equal to about 4.5 liters. In the US, it is equal to about 3.8 liters. Galaxy, any of the large systems of stars in the outer space. genetic, connected with genes. Grotesque, strange in a way that is unpleasant or offensive. Half term, a short holiday in the middle of each term. Haywire, to stop working correctly or become out of control. High roller, a person who spends a lot of money, especially on gambling. Hostile, aggressive or unfriendly and ready to argue or fight. Incest, sexual activity between two people who are very closely related in a family. In charge, the person who is officially responsible for a department. Incarnate, in human form. Incense, a substance that produces a pleasant smell when you burn it, used particularly in religious ceremonies. Inbred, produced by breeding among closely related members of a group of animals, people, or plants. In tray, a container on your desk for letters that are waiting to be read or answered. IVF, a process that fertilizes an egg from a woman outside her body, in vitro fertilization. Lasagna, large flat pieces of pasta. Lasagna. Lasagna. Lego, a children's toy that consists of small colored bricks that fit together. Ligate, to tie up an artery or other blood vessel or tube in the body with a ligature. Logical, seem natural, reasonable, or sensible. Logician, a person who studies or has a lot of skills in logic. Loincloth, a piece of cloth worn around the body at the hips by men in some hot countries, sometimes as the only piece of clothing worn. Marathon, a long running race of about 42 km or 26 miles. Meat, the soft part of an animal or a bird that can be eaten as food. Metro, underground train system. Muddy, full of or covered in mud. Naxalite, a member of a group which believes in political revolution in order to change the system of how land is owned. One way, moving or allowing movement in only one direction. Parcel, something that is wrapped in paper or put into a thick envelope so that it can be sent by mail, carried easily, or given as a present. Physicist, a scientist who studies physics. Placing, the position of something or somebody in a race or a competition or in a list arranged in order of success. Populace all the ordinary people of a particular country or area. Prepaid, paid for in advance. Producer, a person, a company, or a country that grows or makes food, goods, or materials. Production, the process of growing or making food, goods, or materials, especially in large quantities. Ramrod, a long straight piece of iron used in the past to push explosive into a gun. Recast, to change something by organizing or presenting it in a different way. Reception, the area inside the entrance of a hotel, an office building, where guests go first when they arrive. Rift, a serious break in the relationship between people or organization. Rummage, to move things around carelessly while searching for something. Sanity, the state of having a normal, healthy mind. Scholarship, an amount of money given to somebody by an organization to help pay for their education. Schoolmate, a person who attends or attended the same school as you. Science park, an area where there are a lot of companies or organizations involved in scientific research and development. Seduce, to persuade somebody to have sex with you, especially somebody who is younger or who has less experience than you. Set point, a point that if won by a player will win them the set. Shell, the hard outer part of eggs, nuts, some seeds and some animals. Slush, partly melted snow that is usually dirty. Solitaire, a card game for only one player. Solicitor, a lawyer who prepares legal documents, for example, for the sale of land or buildings, advises people on legal matters and can speak for them in some courts of law. Solstice, either of the two times of the year at which the sun reaches its highest or lowest point in the sky in the middle of the day, marked by the longest and shortest days. Solitude, the state of being alone, especially when you find this pleasant. Spawn, to cause something to develop or be produced. Specialist, a person who is an expert in a particular area of work or study. Spring, the season between winter and summer when plants begin to grow. Spree, a short period of time that you spend doing one particular activity that you enjoy, but often too much of it. Springboard, a strong board that you jump on and use to help you jump high in diving and gymnastics. Spring onion, a type of small onion with long green stem and leaves. Statement, something that you say or write that gives you information or an opinion. Structure, the way in which the parts of something are connected together, arranged or organized. Struggle, to try very hard to do something when it is difficult or when there are a lot of problems. Surgery, medical treatment of injuries or diseases that involves cutting a person's body and often removing or replacing some parts. Temperature, the measurement in degrees of how hot or cold a thing or place is. Tempest, a lot of anger or worry about something that is not important. Tessel, a wild plant with leaves with sharp points and purple, yellow or white flowers made up of a mass of narrow petals pointing upwards. Tolerate, to allow somebody to do something that you do not agree or like. Toggle, a key on a computer that you press to change from one style or operation to another and back again. Toll free, a phone call to an organization or service that you do not have to pay for. Trainer, a shoe that you wear for sports or an informal clothing. Truce, agreement between enemies or opponents to stop fighting for an agreed period of time. Unbranded, a product that does not have a brand name. Unplugged, musicians performing with acoustic rather than electric instruments. Unzip, to return a file to its original size after it has been compressed. Valley, an area of low land between hills or mountains, often with a river flowing through it. Valuation, a professional judgment about how much money something is worth. Violent, involving or caused by physical force that is intended to hurt or kill somebody. Virtual, made to appear to exist by the use of computer software, for example on the internet. Wallpaper, thick paper often with a pattern on it, used for covering the walls and ceilings of a room. Walk-in, not arranged in advance. Wallop, a heavy, powerful hit. Wallet, a small, flat, folding case made of leather or plastic used for keeping paper money and credit cards. Wealth, a large amount of money, property, etc. that a person or country owns. To make cloth, a carpet, a basket, etc. by crossing threads or narrow pieces of materials across, over and under each other by hand or on a machine called a loom. Wheeze, to breathe noisily and with difficulty. Winch, a machine for lifting or pulling heavy objects using a rope or chain. Wimp, a person who is not strong, brave or confident. Affair events that are of public interest or political importance. Alliance, an agreement between countries, political parties, etc., to work together in order to achieve something that they all want. All in one, able to do the work of two or more things that are usually separate. Annoyance, the feeling of being slightly angry. Anniversary, a date that is an exact number of years after the date of an important or special event. Antler, one of the two horns that grow on the head of a male deer. Array, a group or collection of things or people, often one that is large or impressive. Arrogant, behaving in a proud, unpleasant way, showing little thought for other people. Baby blue, a very pale blue in color. Baby blues, a depressed feeling that some women get after the birth of a baby. Baffle, to confuse somebody completely. Besmirch, to damage the opinion that people have of somebody. Billion, 1,000 million. Blend, to mix two or more substances together. Bonding, the process of forming a special relationship with somebody or with a group of people. Bondage, the state of being a slave or prisoner. Braid, thin colored rope that is used to decorate furniture and military uniforms. Brooch, a piece of jewelry with a pin on the back of it and that can be fastened to your clothes. Bungalow, a house built on one level without stairs. Buzzword, a word phrase especially when connected with a particular subject that has become fashionable and popular and is used a lot in newspapers, etc. Dink, a soft hit that makes the ball land on the ground without bouncing much. Discussion, a conversation about something or somebody. Disembark, to leave a vehicle, especially a ship or an aircraft, at the end of a journey. Dyspepsia, pain caused by difficulty in digesting food. Elm, a tall tree with broad leaves. Elocution, the ability to speak clearly and correctly, especially in public, and pronouncing the words in a way that is considered to be socially acceptable. Embryo, a young animal or plant in the very early stages of development before birth or before coming out of its egg or seed. Epiphany, a sudden and surprising moment of understanding. Equinox, one of the two times in the year when the sun is above the equator and day and night are of equal length. Explanation: a statement, factor, or situation that tells you why something happened. Fascinate: to attract or interest somebody very much. Filmmaker: a person who directs or produces films. Finagle: to behave dishonestly or to obtain something dishonestly. Freefall: the movement of an object or a person falling through the air without engine power or a parachute. Frock: a dress. Geography: the scientific study of the Earth's surface, physical features, divisions, products, population, etc. Grassland: a large area of open land covered with wild grass. Granite: a type of hard grey stone often used in building. Hair: the substance that looks like a mass of fine thread growing on a person's head. Veins at or near the anus that have become painful and swollen. Battery: a device that is placed inside a car, engine, clock, radio, etc., and that produces the electricity that makes it work. Bedbug: a small, flat insect that lives especially in beds where it bites people and drinks their blood. Bedlam: very noisy and confusing scene. Blush: to become red in the face because you are embarrassed or ashamed. Bulldog: a short, strong dog with a large head, a short, flat nose, and short, thick neck. Caliber: the quality of something, especially a person's ability. Cast iron: a hard type of iron that does not bend easily and is shaped by pouring the hot liquid metal into a container with a particular shape. Charisma: the powerful personal quality that some people have to attract and impress other people. Coca: a tropical bush whose leaves are used to make the drug cocaine. Contender: a person or team with a chance of winning a competition. Croquette: a small amount of mashed potato, fish, etc., shaped into a bowl or tube covered with breadcrumbs and fried. Dairy: milk, cheese, and other milk products. Diary: a book in which you can write down the experiences you have each day, your private thoughts, etc. Docile: quiet and easy to control. Dynasty: a series of leaders of a country who all belonged to the same family. Embark: to get into a ship or plane. faceless, having no faceless, having no characteristics or identity that are easy to notice. Feminist, having or based on the belief that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. Finite, having a definite limit or fixed size. Fructose, a type of sugar found in fruit juice and honey. Geyser, a natural spring that sometimes sends hot water or steam up into the air. Grasp, to take a strong hold of somebody or something. Gunsmith, a person who makes and repairs guns. Hardy, strong and able to survive difficult conditions and bad weather. Hearth, the floor at the bottom of a fireplace. Hinge, a piece of metal, plastic, etc., on which door lid or gate moves freely as it opens or closes. Hostility, aggressive or unfriendly feelings or behavior. Hurricane, a violent storm with very strong winds, especially in the western Atlantic Ocean. Impulsion, a strong desire to do something. Influence, the effect that somebody or something has on the way a person thinks or behaves, on the way that something works or develops. Ivory, a hard white substance like bone that forms the tusks of elephants and some other animals. Joist, long, thick piece of wood or metal that is used to support a floor or ceiling in a building. Kidnap, to take somebody away illegally and keep them as a prisoner, especially in order to get money or something else for returning them. Landfall, the act of arriving on land after long journey by sea or by air, or the land that you first see or arrive at. Layer, quantity or sheet of something that lies over surface or between surfaces. Leet, an informal language or code used on the internet, often in online gaming, in which some letters are replaced by numbers, special symbols, etc. Loading, extra money that somebody is paid for their job because they have special skills or qualifications. Low paid, earning or providing very little money. Maintain, to make something continue at the same level, standard, etc. Marriage, the legal relationship between two people who are married to each other. Measurement, the act or the process of finding the size, quantity, or degree of something. Microphone, a device that is used for recording sounds or for making your voice louder when you are speaking or singing to an audience. Minister, a senior member of the government who is in charge of a government department or a branch of one. Module, a unit of a computer system or program that has a particular function. Motion, the act or process of moving or the way something moves. Nincompoop, a stupid person. Nourishment, food that is needed to stay alive, grow and stay healthy. Obsession, the state in which a person's mind is completely filled with thoughts of one particular thing or person in a way that is not normal. Old boy, a man who used to be a student at a particular school, usually a private one. Opposition, the act of strongly disagreeing with somebody or something, especially with the aim of preventing something from happening. Overage, too old to be allowed to do something or a particular thing. Pantomime, a type of play with music, dancing and jokes that is based on a fairy tale and is usually performed at Christmas. Pantsuit, a woman's suit of jacket and pants. Panorama, a view of a wide area of land. Panini, a sandwich made with Italian bread, usually toasted. Pantry, a cupboard or a small room in a house used for storing food. Partnership, the state of being a partner in business. Pension, an amount of money paid regularly by a government or company to somebody who has retired from work. Pentathlon, a sporting event in which people compete in 5 different sports: running, riding, swimming, shooting and fencing. Plaid, type of thick cloth with a pattern of lines and squares of different colors and widths, especially a tartan pattern. Pod, a long thin case filled with seeds that develops from the flowers of some plants, especially peas and beans. Possum, to pretend to be asleep or not aware of something in order to trick somebody. Pressure, the act of trying to persuade or to force somebody to do something. Press release, an official statement made to journalists by a large organization, a political party, or a government department. Produce, to make things to be sold, especially in large quantities. Pummel, to keep hitting somebody or something hard, especially with your fists. Raptor, a bird that kills other creatures for food.
It's 4:30.
Recapitulate. To repeat or give a summary of what has already been said, decided, etc. To recap. Rebate. An amount of money that is paid back to you because you have paid too much. A tax rebate. Recall. To remember something. Regret. To feel sorry about something you've done or about something that you have not been able to do. Respond. To give a spoken or written answer to somebody or something. Rife. Full of something bad or unpleasant. Rumor. A piece of information or story that people talk about but that may not be true. Saddle. A leather seat for a rider on a horse. Saffron. A bright yellow powder made from crocus flowers used in cooking as a spice and to give color to food. Saga. A story, a long traditional story about adventures and brave acts. Savvy. Practical knowledge or understanding of something. Seduction. The act of persuading somebody to have sex with you. Security. The activities involved in protecting a country, building, or person against attack, danger, etc. Sediment. The solid material that settles at the bottom of a liquid. Sentinel. A soldier whose job is to guard something. SEO. SEO. Search engine optimization. Shellfire. Attacks or explosion caused by shells being fired from large guns. Spasm. A sudden and often painful contracting of a muscle which you cannot control. Spray on. That you can spray onto something or somebody from a special container. Starstruck. Very impressed by famous people such as actors, sportsmen, etc. Stipend. An amount of money that is paid regularly to somebody as a wage. Stripped. Marked with a pattern of stripes. Striptease. A form of entertainment, for example, in a bar or a club, when a performer removes his or her clothes in a sexually exciting way, usually to music in front of audience. Strobe. A bright light that flashes rapidly on and off. Substance. A type of solid, liquid, or gas that has particular qualities. Substrate. A substance or layer which is under something or on which something happens. For example, the surface on which a living thing grows and feeds. Supervisor. A person who supervises somebody or something. Talent. A natural ability to do something well. Testify. To make a statement that something happened or that something is true, especially as a witness in court. Testament, a thing that shows that something else exists or is true. Tirade, a long, angry speech criticizing somebody or something or accusing somebody of something. Tissue, a piece of soft paper used especially as a handkerchief. Tipping point, the point at which the number of small changes over a period of time reaches a level where a further small change has a sudden and very great effect on system or leads to an idea spreading quickly among a large number of people. Tiramisu, an Italian dessert made from layers of cake with coffee, chocolate, and cheese. Topple, to become unsteady and fall down. Tootsies, used by or when speaking to young children. Toes or feet. Topology, the way the parts of something are arranged and related. Trojan horse, a person or thing that is used to trick an enemy in order to achieve a secret purpose. Triumph, a great success, achievement, or victory. Union, an organization of workers, usually in a particular industry, that exists to protect their interest, improve conditions of work, etc. Unique, being the only one of its kind. UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, an organization within United Nations that helps to take care of the health and education of children all over the world. Uninjured, not hurt or injured in any way. Unsuitable, not right or appropriate for a particular purpose, person, or occasion. Valuable, worth a lot of money. Vital, necessary or essential in order for something to succeed or exist. Vitamin, a natural substance found in food that is an essential part of what humans and animals need to help them grow and stay healthy. Wage, a regular amount of money that you earn usually every week or every month for work or service you provide. Warrior, a person who fights in a battle or war. Warfare, the activity of fighting war, especially using particular weapons or methods. Weenie, a person who is not strong, brave, or confident. Wide, measuring a large distance from one side to another side. Wick, the piece of string in the center of a candle that you light so that the candle burns. Wonderful, very good, pleasant, or a lot of fun. Wormhole, a possible connection between regions of space time that are far apart. Wrongdoer, a person who does something dishonest or illegal. Yeast infection, a disease that affects the vagina. Yatra, a line of people or vehicles that move along slowly as part of a ceremony or a journey to a holy place, usually carried out for religious reasons. Zucchini, a long vegetable with dark green skin that is white inside. Admirable, have qualities that you admire and respect. Afraid, feeling fear. Afford, you have enough money to be able to buy or do something. Afro, a hairstyle sometimes worn by black people and popular in the 70s, which consists of a round mass of very curly hair. Aimless, having no direction or plan. Airborne, in the air. Announce, to tell people something officially. Arrive, to get to a place, especially at the end of a journey. Author, a person who writes books or the person who wrote a particular book. Bag, a container made of cloth, leather, plastic or paper used to carry things in. Barrage, a wall or barrier built across a river to store water, prevent a flood, etc. Believe, to feel certain that something is true or that somebody is telling you the truth. Bin, a container that you put waste in. Blurt, to say something suddenly and without thinking carefully enough. Bridle, a set of leather bands attached to reins which is put around a horse's head and used for controlling it. Bunion, a painful swelling on the foot, usually on the big toe. Camper, a person who spends a holiday living in a tent or at a holiday camp. Cauliflower, a vegetable with green leaves around a large hard white head of flowers. Charioteer, the driver of a chariot. Chief, most important. Coach, a person who trains a person or team in sport. Concealer, a skin colored cream or powder used to cover spots or marks on the skin or dark circles under the eyes. Consensual, that people generally agree with. Copyright, not allowed to be copied without permission. Counteract, to do something to reduce or prevent the bad or harmful effects of something. Crux, the most important or difficult part of a problem. Crummy, of very bad quality. Currency, the system of money that a country uses. Dale, a valley. Daytime, the period during the day between the time when it gets light and the time when it gets dark. Decrease, to become smaller in size, number, etc. Deployment, the act of moving soldiers or weapons into a position where they are ready for military action. Diaspora, the movement of the people away from their own country to live and work in other countries. Discard, to get rid of something that you no longer want or need. Dispenser, a machine or container holding money, drinks, paper towels, etc. that you can obtain quickly with just a click of a button. Docent, a person whose job is to show tourists around the museum, etc. and talk to them about it. DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions. DOP, Director of Photography. Dysfunctional, not working normally or properly. Electrolyte, a liquid that an electric current can pass through, especially in an electric cell or a battery. Emphatic, making it very clear what you mean by speaking with force. Epitome, a perfect example of something. Eventuate, to happen as a result of something. Fair play, the fact of playing a game or acting honestly, fairly, and according to the rules. Field hockey, a game played on a field by two teams of 11 players with curved sticks and small hardball. Firm, a business or company. Flutter, to make something move. Forget, to not remember to do something that you ought to do. Fridge, a piece of electrical equipment in which food is kept cold so that it stays fresh. Friend, a person you know well and like and who is not usually a member of your family. Game, an activity that you do to have fun, often one that has rules and that you can win or lose. Gill, one of the openings on the side of a fish's head that it breathes through. Nollie, difficult or dangerous. Glug, to pour out quickly and noisily, especially from a bottle. Gonorrhea, a disease of the sexual organs caught by having sex with a person who has the disease. Guarantor, a person who agrees to be responsible for somebody or for making sure that something happens or is done. Ham, made from the top part of a pig's leg that has been preserved using salt. Hasty, said, made or done very quickly, especially when this has bad results. Honk, the noise made by the car horn. Human, connected with people rather than animals, machines, or gods. Hunchback, a person who has a hump on their back. Ice pack, a plastic container filled with ice that is used to cool parts of the body that are injured. Idiot, a very stupid person. Impure, not pure or clean. Inefficient, not doing a job well and not making the best use of money, energy, etc. Ineligible, not having the necessary qualifications to have or to do something. Infant, a baby or a very young child. Insolent, extremely rude and showing lack of respect. Interplay, the way in which two or more things or people affect each other. Interpol, an international organization that enables the police forces of different countries to help each other to solve crimes. Intermittent, stopping and starting often over a period of time but not regularly. Introduce, to tell two or more people who have not met before what each other's names are. Ion, an atom or a molecule with a positive or negative electric charge caused by its losing or gaining one or more electrons. Irk, to annoy somebody. Irreducible, that cannot be made smaller or simpler. Jesse, a man or boy who is weak or who seems to behave too much like a woman. Associative, relating to the association of ideas or things. Awesome, very impressive or very difficult and perhaps rather frightening. Bar, a place where you can buy and drink alcoholic and other drinks. Basin, gram flour. Beside, next to or at the side of somebody or something. Berserk, very angry often in a violent way or without control. Bite. To use your teeth to cut into or through something. Bleed. To lose blood, especially from a wound or an injury. Bleak. Not giving any reason to have hope or expect anything good. Bobble. A small, soft ball, usually made of wool, that is used especially for decorating clothes. Boda boda. A type of motorcycle or bicycle with space for carrying passengers or goods. Bouquet. A bunch of flowers arranged in an attractive way so that it can be carried in a ceremony or presented as a gift. Bounty. Money given as a reward. Boundary. A real or imaginary line that marks the limits or edges of something and separates it from other things or places. Bowl. A deep round dish with a wide open top used especially for holding food or liquid. Bow tie. A man's tie that is tied in the shape of a bow and that does not hang down. Brine. Water that contains a lot of salt used especially for preserving food. Buckle. To fasten something. Burden. A duty, responsibility, etc. that causes worry, difficulty, or hard work. Burglar. A person who enters a building illegally in order to steal. Calculate. To use numbers to find out a total number, amount, distance, etc. Cappuccino. A type of coffee made with hot frothy milk and sometimes with chocolate powder on top. Cash register. A machine used in shops, restaurants, etc. for keeping money in and that shows and records the amount of money received for a unit sold. Castor oil. A thick yellow oil obtained from a tropical plant and used as a type of medicine. Causality. The relationship between something that happens and the reason for it happening. Charcoal. A black substance made by burning wood slowly in an oven with little air. Choo-choo. A child's word for train. Chlorinate. To put chlorine in something, especially water. Cholera. A serious disease caught from bacteria in water that causes severe diarrhea and vomiting and often causes death. Cleanse. To clean your skin or a wound. Cluster. A group of things of the same type that grow or appear close together. Collapse. Fall down or fall in suddenly, often after breaking apart. Collateral. Property or something valuable that you promise to give to somebody if you cannot pay back money that you borrow. Comfort, the state of being physically relaxed and free from pain. Comparison, the process of comparing two or more things or people. Confession, a statement that a person makes admitting that they are guilty of a crime. Consulate, the building where a consul works. Crash, an accident in which a vehicle hits something, usually causing damage and often injuring or killing passengers. Come as well as. DBMS, Database Management System. Deform, to change or damage the usual or natural shape of something. Denounce, to strongly criticize somebody or something that you think is wrong, illegal, etc. Denote, to be a sign of something. Disgust, a strong feeling of dislike for somebody or something that you feel is unacceptable. Distraught, extremely upset and anxious so that you cannot think clearly. Diversify, to develop a wider range of products, interests, skills, etc. in order to be more successful or reduce risk. Down to earth, sensible and practical in a way that is helpful and friendly. Dubious, not certain about something and suspecting that something may be wrong. Ecologist, a scientist who studies the relation of plants and living creatures to each other and to their environment. Edit, to prepare a piece of writing, a book, etc., to be published by correcting the mistakes, making improvements to it, etc. Empathize, to understand another person's feelings and experiences, especially because you have been in a similar situation. Entrapment, the illegal act of tricking somebody into committing crime so that they can be arrested for it. Etymology, the origin and history of a particular word. Executioner, a person whose job or role is to kill people as a punishment, especially a public official who executes criminals. Exempt, to give somebody official permission not to do something or not to pay something they would normally have to do or pay. Favor, a thing that you do to help somebody. Fiber, the part of food that helps to keep a person healthy by keeping the bowels working and moving other food quickly through the body. Flashy, attracting attention by being bright, expensive, large, etc. Flaw, a mistake in something that means that it is not correct or does not work correctly. Fluffy, covered in very soft fur or feathers. Follow. To come or go after or behind somebody or something. Forgery, the crime of copying money, documents, etc. in order to cheat people. Freedom, the power or right to do or say what you want without anyone stopping you. Frolic, to move and play around in a lively, happy way. Furnish, to put furniture in a house, room, etc.